I'm Jessica.
And today we thought it'd be fun to kind of take you along on our Portland adventures.
Not just Portland. Oregon.
Not just Portland. Oregon adventures. We're going to go to Powell's, which if you don't know, is, I'm pretty sure, the biggest bookstore in the country.
No, it's the world's largest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's over 60,000 square feet.
And we are going to spend an uninterrupted amount of time in there.
Mm-hmm.
So excited. We'll see. I am not the type of person to, buy a bunch of books and then be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. I'll be lucky if I buy one. That's the way I am.
I'll make you buy more than one.
I'm excited to just be there to read in Powell's,
the vibes.
in their cafe. This is going to be great. So we thought we'd share a few of the books that we maybe are on the lookout for, as they do have new and used.
Mm-hmm.
So these are books to when you right now, because obviously, there's other bookstores closer to us, but say we find it used or something, special edition, we might pick it up.
Okay, so I kind of categorized mine.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want me to just say mine first?
Yeah.
I'll just go through them really quickly. So, for YA books, I'm looking for Strange the Dreamer, which we've been wanting to read for a while, but...
And we've seen multiple times and you haven't bought it.
I don't
Even
know.
for cheap.
I don't know why. If they have both of them, I'll just go ahead and bite the bullet and get both. I can't remember what the second one is called. Anyways, I really want the Morrigan book.
That's on my list.
By Mary E. Pearson. She is the real one. Need I say more? If they had the Kiss of Deception series, I would get those if they were the other covers, but I'm not buying them if they're the American covers, because I want to get at least one book by, I think her name is Ruta Sepetys. I can't remember, but she writes a lot of historical fiction, and she's really acclaimed for the books that she's wrote, so I want to get one of those. Obviously, we want to get Kingdom of Ash.
And Tower of Dawn.
So we can finish those. I thought we had that.
No.
Oh.
We only have Empire of Storms.
Okay, well, we need to get the rest of that series for sure. The Wrath and the Dawn. If they have that, I want to get that. I was reading the synopsis to Emmalynn the other day, and I was like, this just sounds really cool. And I want to get the Maud book by Melanie Fishbane, which is not a retelling, but it's a fictional book about the life of Ellen Montgomery, which leads me to my next set of things I'm looking for, which is anything by Ellen Montgomery. I'm wanting to collect her other works besides just the Anne of Green Gables series, and I specifically want a pretty copy of The Blue Castle, because the one I have is not it. It's so ugly. And then kind of a long shot are Heidi Swain books. I talked about her in our December wrap-up, I think. I read one of her Christmas books and just loved it. They're kind of hard to come by for some reason, but I'm going to look. And then Stacey Halls, who wrote The Familiars. I'm wanting to get some of her other books. Amanda Dykes is a fictional... a Christian historical fiction author. She just had a new book come out that I'm interested in. And then Sarah Adams, who wrote The Cheat Sheet. I'm wanting to get any of her books, really, but I really am interested in her Regency series, which I didn't know she had until just a few days ago, so I'm wanting to see if they have that. And that's all.
Okay, well, you kind of stole some of mine.
Sorry.
My first
That's okay,
one...
I'll buy them and you can reap the benefits.
Oh, okay. Dad will buy them.
Yeah, here we're kidding.
My first thing is just literally any Adrienne Young books. Anyone who's watched our videos knows I love her. And I was lucky enough to get an ARC I was supposed to be getting digitally. But now that I know how much I love it, and the cover is just gorgeous, matches my room. So I just feel like I need it along with any of her other books.
I would be down with buying those for you.
Okay.
Because I want to read the Fable books. Duology, whatever.
And then there's a prequel, and then there's a spin-off book, and I'm also very interested in her new book coming out this year. She hasn't announced it on Instagram or anything. It's called The Red Door Project. If you go on Goodreads, it's The Fallen City and it's like Greek, Roman, I'm pretty sure.
Need you say more. I'm in.
Right. I'm just patiently waiting. There's so many books I would buy if they were out.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like all the books I want come out later this year, but it's fine. Next, just any of the Heroes of Olympus books in the hardback. I'm very particular about those. I don't like the paperback covers. I don't know why they're different from the hardback.
I didn't know that.
I don't know if it's just like they changed them when they came out in paperback and it's been a while. I don't know the publication date of those. But I really, really want to read them, and the paperbacks just, I don't know. They're not as pretty to me. The spines of Heroes of Olympus are also really pretty, just the colors and everything. And then next, just finishing any series I have. I have a lot of like first book in series that I just then got from the library like right after because I liked it. So just completing
series. We
series.
need to finish the Carvel series. That's
yes.
Did you have that on your list?
No, but that's part of it.
Okay, I'll remember that.
And then next is kind of under this category, but the Inheritance Games hardback. I have the hardback of The Hawthorne Legacy and The Final Gambit, and I don't even own a copy of the Inheritance Games, and it really bothers me. But they don't print the hardback anymore, like at Barnes & Noble and stuff. They don't have it. So I need to either just buy it at Penguin Books, or hopefully they'll have one here so I can make other people I know read it. Like you.
And Ollie.
Yes. And then also any new editions of Little Women. I haven't ever finished Little Women. But it's fine because I just love the story so much, and I love both the movies I've seen. And
it's her collection.
She's
starting a collection.
I feel like most people I know, like on Bookstore and stuff, collect Pride and Prejudice. And honestly, it's like one of my favorite movies on time. Never been able to get through the book. One day. But that I feel like I have to train myself to read that kind of thing.
You did read Emma for school.
I did. It was okay. And that's not my favorite of the Jane Austen stories anyways, but that's a little tangent. And then any Robin Hobb books.
Yeah.
I've only read the Farseer trilogy by her, and I know there's so many other ones within that world that you're supposed to read in a certain order, and I really want to, and I don't even want it to end, so I haven't, even though I know I can reread things. And I know I have
the Assassin's Apprentice
in the Illustrated.
Yeah.
But I really want to read Ship of Magic this year. I've heard really good things about that. So that's my list, excluding things that you've talked about.
Yeah, we get kind of overlapped.
We'll do a haul at the end and see
compare. We got like things that were not.
We got nothing on our list.
We got everything but what's on our list.
It's fine.
Okay, today we're gonna head to Tillamook, which if you aren't from this area, maybe you don't know what Tillamook is. It's a local creamery, and their factory, I guess you would say, is right on the coast of Oregon. So we're gonna head there today. You can walk around, have taste testing of ice cream and cheese, and then they have a restaurant too. So that's what we're gonna do today.
And maybe some late night Powells.
Yeah.
Before
we
go in the morning.
We're gonna hop in the car for the next 3 hours. So maybe we'll insert some clips of the drive.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what the weather's like. Hopefully it doesn't rain.
We'll see. It looks like nighttime.
It looks like it's gonna snow, actually. I wish it would, but it's not.
Alas,
we're never gonna get snow.
It's fine.
It's fine.
I guess we should go.
I guess we should go load up the car now.
We are back. And we have quite the haul. I mean, maybe to you, I
Might
didn't
not be
get
that
very
much,
much,
yeah.
but to me, leaving the store with one book is a lot. But
6.
Well, technically I got 4, and Mom was like, oh my gosh, you have so much little. You're going to talk about these 2 books because I know you're going to read them too. But, so.
I did. The whole time I was like, just put it in the basket, Dad will buy it.
Which is like the opposite of how she is.
Yeah.
It's like a miracle if she'll buy anything for herself. So.
But it was for my birthday, so I felt like
So-
it gave me complete freedom.
So we needed to get things too. I don't know. But
Freedom
Yeah.
level unlocked.
I'm broke, so that was nice to get books. But because I'm broke, I still feel bad. Because I know money is an object.
Is it?
Okay. Do you want to go first? Or
Sure.
Do you want me to?
Okay. The first book I picked up was one I had on my list, and that is The Foundling by Stacey Halls. I read The Familiars like 2 years ago, I think, and I really, really liked it. It's super, well, I'll just say, I think, based on that book, her writing is just very atmospheric. It's like Jane Austen vibes, but in a more common tongue. It's easier to understand. But this one is about a girl who gives her child up for adoption when she's really young. She goes back to the orphanage, but they call it the Foundling Hospital, like years later to get her daughter, because I'm assuming she like kind of has to go through some things in life to be able to afford to have a daughter. And so she goes to get her, and the lady is like, you already picked her up. And she's like, what? And so she kind of has to go on this journey to find her daughter, find out like if someone's posing as her, etc. So I think it's going to be really beautifully written based on The Familiars. And yeah, I'm excited that they had this, because a lot of books that I was looking for, they actually didn't have, and we'll talk about that later.
My first book, we'll go with this one, is Winterkeep by Kristen Cashore. I just started getting the new covers of these books in December, and this is the last one that's out in paperback. There's 5 books in this series, so this is the 4th one I own. The first 3 being Graceland, Fire, and Bitter Blue. And I can't really give a synopsis of this because Bitter Blue is in this book, so that could kind of spoil the ending of that book if you haven't read it yet. But Graceland and just the Graceland Realm series are just one of my favorites of all time. It kind of has that old-fashioned YA fantasy vibe, and I know to some people that's like mediocre. I love it. Like, nothing beats it to me. Still give me all the dystopian because I'm an extremely nostalgic person, but I just think these covers are so beautiful.
They're so much more vibey than the other ones.
So I was really happy to find this. It's like, it was only $7 because there's like things on the top.
And there's a dot.
Yeah, to mark that it was bad. But
yeah,
there was like a whole stack of them. Like, some of the fronts were ripped, and this one was in the stack.
some of them
being
had
on
like
sale.
red slashes along the
Yeah.
top, but that one didn't.
So I don't know why this one was on sale, but this one-
Whatever.
And the floppiness level.
Their loss, our gain.
So true.
Okay. So the next book I picked up, really, I just wanted anything by this author, and that's Jamie Jo Wright. She's actually a Christian fiction author, but all of her books are written in dual timeline. So they usually take place, in the present and then sometime in the past. This one is like 100 years in the past. So this one is about a woman who becomes widowed. she decides that she wants a fresh start, so she goes back to her grandfather's hometown in Wisconsin. She decides to buy this, what looks to me like a creepy, dilapidated house.
I had literally no idea you got that.
Yeah. And she kind of like starts uncovering things about this house specifically. And then she learns that 100 years prior, there was a girl who was found murdered in this same property. So it kind of goes back and forth between the present and the past as she uncovers things about the past. But I've heard nothing but good things about her writing. This isn't one of her more recent ones, but I am excited to like see if I like her writing as much as other people do.
Okay, I'm just going to do my next two together, and that is the first two books in the Heroes of Olympus series by Rick Riordan. And my understanding is this is the next series to read after Percy Jackson, and I read Percy Jackson in January of last year all the way through. I'd read the first three books, in middle school. Never finished the series. And I feel like a lot of people have been getting back into him since the new Percy Jackson show comes out, hopefully this year.
I just actually looked that up last night, and it said 2024. Is that right? I was like, whoa.
Maybe.
That's still a long
sad.
ways.
I know.
I was like, we got Disney Plus. We can watch that.
Yeah.
And now it's going to be a year?
Rip. Well, maybe I can read all of his books by
I'll
then.
research that
That
one.
can be my
But that's what it said.
my goal. But I've just heard really good things about these books. I have no idea what they're about. But I know they're multiple POV, which you can't go wrong with. And I was able to find the hardbacks. And what's very interesting, okay, they had paperbacks of these covers, but it was definitely like the first print because they were all like the worst condition. And then the newer ones have like faces on the spine. Like
we don't,
cartoon
yeah, we don't want that.
faces, and I was like, ah. So that's why I was talking about at the beginning of this video, I want these. Something about these, I just think they're so pretty.
Sidebar, did you see the quote about him listening to Taylor Swift?
Yes,
did
I
you send that
sent
to
it
me?
to you.
Okay, that was so funny. That's what I think of now every time I think of him.
Little Rick.
Rick is a
he
Swiftie.
He likes Evermore, which is my favorite album. Twinning. But yes, so excited. Can't go wrong.
Okay, this next book I picked up is Wishtress by Nadine.
I keep wanting
Rands?
to say trees because of the leaves.
I thought this was technically middle grade, but it's YA. But this is about a girl whose tears grant wishes, and she grants a wish, and somehow it goes wrong, which makes her cursed to where her next wish or tear, I guess, that she sheds because she grants a wish will kill her. So she has to go on this journey to unbreak the spell, curse, whatever. And then there's this boy who can stop time with the snap of his fingers. And so the king sends him on this journey to find her because he wants her to grant him a wish, I guess. So then they're paths cross and adventure ensues, I'm assuming. But I've heard nothing but good things about this. There's a lot of bookstagram people I follow who have really enjoyed this. So I'm excited to read this. I don't think she has any other books. This is a debut for this author, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I am a little disappointed in can't we just I can't imagine if I were an author and I'm this is my life's work, make the hardcover plain. How boring.
Well, I just have such high expectations now because of Rachel Griffin's hardcovers.
She did it right.
Oh my gosh. And I know the one for her next book is just going to be so good because she keeps talking about you should pre-order. You remember what the first two I wrote look like.
Oh, you talk about that one and I'll talk about this one. They kind of go together.
Oh, okay. My next book is A Forgery of Roses by Jessica Emmalynn. And this is the Owl Crate edition. They had this at Powell's because, someone just turned it in. And I had this actually on my list on Pango. It's sold, but someone was selling it for $20, as much as you would pay for a hardback. But the edges, this is my first book with sprayed edges.
Can we just?
Big deal. Big deal. Okay, so we have this, right? And then I was showing this to my boyfriend because he obviously cares. And he was like, well, what does the naked hardcover look like? And I was like, I didn't even look. Oh my gosh. So, the naked hardcover. It's so pretty.
And the back has
two little roses. And then there's an alternate dust jacket.
Which is
underneath, which
such a great idea to utilize. Why not?
Yes. And my sister was like, you need to put it on your wall. And I'm like, but then this won't be on my book.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But I can just look at it. And I've read this book. I gave it 5 stars. It is so good. I'll explain what it's about in a minute. But then I don't know why I didn't think to get this. I guess I was just so excited that I saw it. I didn't think to look, but it's also signed. It's just...
major win.
Yes. And
that's probably the win of the day, for sure.
Yes. I got this book as a digital ARC on NetGalley last year. And I wanted to read it or own it, but I just never bought it because I had already read it. But this was only $13. But this is about Mira, and she's an artist, and her portraits of people can, alter their real-life body. So say, she painted me with blonde hair. My hair would turn blonde. And so one day, I'm pretty sure, governor's wife comes in and is like, I need you to paint my son alive because he's dead. Can you try to bring him back to life?
Oh.
And it's there's a whole mystery. Did he die of illness like they say? Was he killed? So then she goes to, live at their house, kind of, to, get a feel for who he was. And she paints there, but she's, not allowed to wander the house. So then she feels like she's failing at her job. And then she befriends the guy's brother who died. And he kind of helps her, around the house, find different clues and stuff. And they're just one of my favorite fictional couples. It's so good. Yeah, it's set in the Victorian time period. You have mystery, thriller, romance, just a little bit of magic. It's so good.
That sounds super interesting. Okay, my next book is also by the same author. And it is Sing Me Forgotten, which is a Phantom of the Opera
gender bent
retelling. So this book follows the main girl who has the ability to alter people's memories whenever they hear singing. So she kind of gets taken in by the, the opera house owner. And he's like, you can live here if you use your powers to make people want to come here. So, he kind of uses her as, a marketing ploy, basically. And so she does that, and then one day, I'm assuming a new boy comes to be part of the opera, and she's, totally smitten with him, can't believe, how beautiful his voice is, blah, blah, blah. And then, so she kind of, manipulates his memories, and then she starts finding things about her past, maybe, or, how she can break free from this guy who's kind of holding her hostage to work for him. I don't really honestly care about all the details. It just, I love Phantom of the Opera so much. I'm so heartbroken that it's being taken off Broadway or whatever.
I didn't know.
Yes, it's done.
Why?
They're retiring it.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, my husband and I saw it actually when I was pregnant with my younger daughter, so that was 15 years ago. No, I was pregnant with you.
Yeah.
So 17 years ago. And I loved it, and my husband even loved it, which if you knew him, you would be shocked by, because he just you wouldn't
He's
look
not a
at him and be
musical
like,
person
oh,
either.
he would like an opera. But I love it so much. So anything that's just centered around that concept, I'm beyond thrilled to read about. So that's See Me For
Okay, my next 2 books I'm also going to talk about together, and that is Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Now, I've read
That's
books.
a beastie boy.
I've read books bigger than this, but the paperback, it doesn't give me much room to, like, the spine is going to be broken,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be sad. It's going to be okay, because I really want to buy the hardcovers and get alternate dust jackets. But also,
I think this cover is the coolest, though.
yes. Unpopular opinion, I don't like the new cover designs at all.
I think they're okay.
They don't do a good enough job representing the series
Yeah.
to me.
The new one of this, though, is cool because it has the stag.
Yes. But, I don't know. So, this book, obviously, well, you don't have to, but it's the book you tandem read with Empire Storms. So, me and Mom just finished Assassin's Blade,
Mm-hmm.
so she's going to read Queen of Shadows, and then we're going to start this in Empire Storms, and then
I need, like, a
read
moment
this
to
together.
recover.
I'm like, you can't get ahead of me in this book. Like, we need to read the very last page
I still
together.
have to read Queen of Shadows, though, before
I know.
we can... I got a lot of work to
So, those are my books.
do. I mean, we needed
I will
to
read
finish them.
Yes, but
Okay, the next book I picked up is The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee something. I'm not going to try to say. I wanted this cover because it was prettier than the other ones. But I'm so disappointed because they charged $10 for this and it's used, which, okay, it's hardback. I could have got this on Pango for like $5. And the binding is coming loose. Like it's... Anyways, this is about a girl who... I'm assuming this is like set in like an Arab country. But it's about a girl who lives in this country where the king, which is called a caliph, I hope I'm saying that right, is young, like in his teenage years, 17 or 18. And he's like notoriously known for taking a new bride every night. And when the morning comes, the bride is dead.
oh my gosh.
And she has like a scarlet cord around her neck or something. So it's like, that's what he's known for. Like everyone knows that this is what's going to happen. So one of her friends ends up being one of his brides, dies, I'm assuming. So she's like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this. So she volunteers to be one of his brides, the main girl, whose name is, I am so bad at pronouncing things, Sharzad, I don't know. I'm sorry. Whoever wrote this, if you're watching, probably not. But anyway, so she decides to do this to like investigate. She kind of like, I think, tricks him somehow and to keep herself alive. And then she uncovers some things about him that maybe he isn't like as bad as she thought. I don't know. I love books set in like Arab countries. I just find them to be very interesting. Like Ember in the Ashes kind of gave that vibe. City of Brass gave that vibe, and I devoured both of those.
For me, We Had the Flame.
Yeah.
You need
I
to
just
read
feel like
that.
this is a kind of like its own, not its own genre, but like its own trope that people, not trope, I don't know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
but it's like not explored very much. Like the culture and the folklore and whatever of that is, it's not really explored much, so I think it's very interesting. And then I got this book from Pango, which is, I realize is not Powell's, but it literally came when we got home yesterday, so I'm going to show it. And this is called The Lost Melody by Joanna Davison Politano. I have been wanting this book ever since I heard Chantel Reeds talk about it. because it's about a girl who is a concert pianist. And I play the piano, so that really intrigued me. So this girl is a concert pianist. Her father dies, and he leaves to her, like in his will, a ward to care for at a psychiatric hospital. And she's like, well, you know, that's kind of a weird thing to leave someone in your will, but okay. So she starts visiting this woman, and she's like, how do I know her? Like, where did she come from? So it's like the more she visits her, the more she becomes unsure of her own life. Like, what she knows is what she knows as her life to be real. Was it made up? Like, where does this woman intersect in her life? I don't know. It just sounds really interesting. Like, the concept of a piano player and a psychiatric ward together is just really interesting. But the reason I wanted this one specifically is, well, the end pages are music notes, and I was like, I have to get this. This is so cute. And it has a piano on the background, or on the back cover. But the person who I bought this from is just the nicest seller ever, because this is a special edition, and she included everything that it came with when she sold it to me. So it has like just all these little extra things, like a little letter from the author that has a quote. The author made like a playlist to listen to with this book, which is so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just has like a lot of little extra things. And so, yeah, I'm excited to not only read this, but just to have it sitting on my shelf. And the naked hardcover has an actual design. And again, with the little music notes. It's just so adorable. I'm so excited. This is probably, like, I'm probably more excited about this than any of the books I got at Powell's, honestly. But
to own.
it's just so unique.
Yeah.
And it has musical connotations, so I'm all about that. Anyways.
Okay, well, I think
that's all the damage we did.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is that bad. A lot of things we bought to finish off series that we own.
Yeah,
So,
I was disappointed they had literally not one copy of the Robin Hobb books I wanted, and that was sad.
Yeah,
They didn't have hardback The Inheritance games.
Yep.
Which I really wanted. It was just there was
a lot,
some
but
losses.
it's just like some very specific things we were looking for that they didn't have. I wanted a certain cover of The Blue Castle by Ellen Montgomery. They didn't have. They also didn't have her other adult fiction book that I wanted, which is called A Tangled Web. Or some other things.
I almost bought so many.
There was a copies. Sarah Adams, that Regency series that I wanted. They didn't have. They only had like the cheat sheet and When in Rome. Those were the only two books by her they had. I don't know. There were just a couple things that we wanted that they didn't have, so now we'll be looking on Pango. Because we got some credits. We have a Pango, by the way.
Yeah, we can link that too if you want to.
If you want to go shopping on our Pango.
If you want to spoil yourself and give us money to buy more books to show you.
Because we just keep reusing it for credits.
Yeah,
Why not?
You have to sell a certain amount of books to be able to afford one. So
that's true.
Really, it's not bad. It's fine.
Your gain is our gain.
Exactly. Okay, well, I think that's all. Don't really have a posting schedule, but, you know, about once a week you'll see us around here, so.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Why do you always do that?